What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Eighth Dimension podcast. Today I got a special guest with me, my big brother, the best tattoo artist in the world, one of the best fathers I've ever seen, and my best friend, and somebody who's inspired me to just be myself more. And he was also the creator of the Eighth Dimension name of this podcast. And so I'm excited to have him here today and just tell his story, what he's been through, things he's learned, and just things about what made him become who he is and how he is the way he is. So first question would be, what was the path that led you into becoming a tattoo artist?
No, first off, thank you for having me on your podcast. And thank you for those kind words. A tattoo artist. Are we going to start with that? All right. Me becoming a tattoo artist was like a lack of options. You know, I wasn't able to. I caught a felony at 18. So the options that were worldwide became like this small. So I was in college when I caught my felony. Obviously, anything I'm going to college for, they're not going to accept anybody with a felony, right? So to me, it was like pointless to keep going. So I worked a couple just dead-end jobs, I guess you could say, right? One day I just woke up and was like, yo, I'm going to be a tattoo artist, and it went from there. And it's been my journey for 15 years now, almost. June 3rd will be 15 years.
That's my birthday, too. So that's, being a tattoo artist now, you're worldwide with it. Now that you, like you said, you didn't think that the things that you were doing and the options that you would take you to many places, but now your art has touched many people, and literally just there's people walking around in all the continents of the world with some novel pieces on them, so that's pretty crazy. I'm blessed to have some on me as well, and it's just amazing because everywhere I go, people are always like, man, who did your tattoos? Like, who's your tattoo artist? And it's this guy right here, the best ever.
Thank you.
So like in terms of just life and that type of stuff, like what was the first like hard thing that you had to get through at like a young age, and then maybe like where was, I guess I'll rephrase this better, what was the time period in your life, like middle school, high school, where you struggled trying to find your like identity or like what you wanted to be or who you wanted to be?
I don't think I ever struggled with my identity. I was always just me. You know, I didn't really give a fuck what people thought about. Like, if they thought about me, if they said anything, the way I dressed, I always dressed different. Style was always my, like, number one priority, you know? Because what does style get you? Style gets you the girls. So, the girls were my priority over school and all that shit. So, I got antagonized a lot. I got, like, people would call me names and all that, but I didn't give a shit. This is who I am. You know what I mean? Like, no one can change who the fuck I am. I stand on 10 toes on everything I do. So, and I've always been like that. Like, trials and tribulations, we all grow up with that shit in our house. So, it's like hardships come and go from the time you're born to the time you die. So it's little things. That felony was a hardship for me. But it was a big blessing in disguise because I wouldn't be here today without it. I wouldn't be able to travel the world if I didn't get that felony. That felony, I'm not like glorifying it, at all. But, God had a plan. It wasn't my dream. I didn't think any of this could happen, but I've traveled the world fucking a few times, yeah. It's crazy how the world works. It's crazy how, like, the universe and God works. It's his plan, not ours,
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like, would you agree that the darkest times sometimes like create the best ideas and the best like version of yourself if you can tap into what's inside you, or it just shows you like who you are on a different level to where you can decide whether you're going to rise from it or just keep dwelling in that in that like arena of just sadness and bad stuff. Because I feel like, for me at least, a lot of the greatest moments in my life came from my worst moments, and like rebounding from bad times. And I always felt like if I didn't have those bad times, I wouldn't have rebounded the way that I did. Would you say the same for you?
I don't think it's like a rebound from it. I think that you're just it creates that character in you that's strong. You know, those trials and tribulations, like you're either gonna go off the edge, you know, and be gone forever and mentally, or you're gonna say, fuck that shit. I'm standing on 10 toes and I'm moving forward. You know, the darkest places that you're in, like only you know about those. You know, even growing up as a child, if you're around, let's say your parents and they have an abusive relationship and they try not to show it in front of you, you still hear it, you know? You still hear the screaming, the fighting, the breaking of whatever. It's there. You deal with that shit on your own in your room, you know? You might fucking talk to your stuffed animals or play video games and talk shit out loud, but it's still there. We're always alone. Like, no matter, even if you're married, you're with your soulmate, at the end of the night, every night you lay your head down on your pillow, and those thoughts and those memories and those, let's say, all the, what do you call them, what do you, the, god damn it, like all the shit that you went through as a child, what do you call them, the traumas, fucking A, the traumas, all the traumas that you went through are there with you. You know what I mean? Until you get over them, until you've walked in the dark, until you've gone through every obstacle in your life. You have to go through this shit. You can't go around it because it's still there. If you don't break through the traumas from childhood to adulthood to whatever, teenagehood, then they're always going to be there, you know?
What would you say some of the things that helped you get past your childhood traumas or traumas in your life? Like, what were the main things that helped you?
I would say, I mean, we're always going to go through, like, I don't think we're always going to go through it, but those things will always, like, just pop up, you know, here and there. You do something or someone does something, like, that reminds you of a past time, you know, it brings it up a little. But like I said, like, you got to get through your traumas. Can't go around them, can't go under them, can't go over them. You can't just, you know, all right, cool, yeah, that happened. You got to get through it. You really have to work on it. You have to fucking get your sledgehammer. If it's a wall, you break through that fucking wall to make sure it's never there again. You know, that's how I got through my traumas. You know, I think actually shrooms helped me get through that shit because it's right there, knocks on your door, and everything that you've ever lived is right there, you know, and it's in your mind. You know, you got to get through that in your mind. You have to, like, break down, you know, it's like math in your mind. All right, cool. How am I going to get this equation? How am I going to solve it? You know, so that's one thing that helped me get through, like, my major traumas was actually breaking it down, not going around it, not just like, oh, okay, holding in all of my traumas, holding in all of my sadness, my anger, you know. We do that and it's bound to explode, and I'm sure people can attest, like, the more you hold in, it just blows up a little bit at a time, you know. You're just like, you know, and then you bring it back, but you have to let that shit go, you know. So yeah,
Definitely facing traumas head on. Just like when people are going through a hard time and they're always trying to run away from it, and they ask me for advice or like hit me up and they're going through something, I always just tell them to just face it, like, head on. Like, you got to do what you don't want to do in this situation, because the more you want to run away from shit, it's just a bigger demon's going to be chasing you, because that same demon is already chasing you, and then you add more stuff to it, it just gets bigger and bigger. And like you said, shrooms is something that's like helped me been like the most help for me in like my life, honestly, because I never gone to a therapist. I've never really gone and talked to anybody about like my problems or what I was battling in my mind. And that's not the best like health advice, but as a man sometimes it's like you feel weak if you ask for help, or if you like go talk to somebody that you still won't feel like will understand where you're coming from or know like why it's happening, because like nobody really understands anything except for you. And that's why I try to tell people is that you have the answers to all the questions that you're looking for, but you just have to look deep enough within yourself to figure it out. And without shrooms, I wouldn't have been able to find those answers, or even let any of the emotions or things that I had inside of me. Because like once I did shrooms, it was like a filing cabinet. Like I was going through my everything in my mind, just picking out little things here and there, that came up, and things that were fucking with me from the past and that had been building up. And I just like pull out the filing cabinet, I take something out, I'm like, all right, set it on the table. Why is this fucking with me? And then you look at it, you dissect it, and like ask the right questions to yourself, like why did this mess me up the way that it did, and why does it make me act the way that I did, like I do now, and can I change, and like what response can I have from it now that I didn't have back then, to like rewrite the script in the correct way for the future if that type of scenario comes up, or just in general, like learning from that overall experience in a different way. And I can't really, I mean, as like shitty as this sounds, is like I wouldn't have been able to get there on a sober mind. I would have, but it would have taken a lot longer. It would have taken a lot more just life experiences and years, to finally get there. But the shrooms definitely just made everything fast forward and get me to where I needed to be mentally. And like we've always had great conversations about like just realizations and shrooms and stuff. And so like, could you elaborate a little bit more about like what shrooms has helped you in your life realize, and just what it's done for you as like a overall being in person?
Sheesh, that'll take all day. But I mean, it just goes back to what I said. Like, it's that, it's the circle of life, right? It's a circle of life. And the circle of life, you have your traumas. You have your trauma walls. This is how I explain it to everybody. Like, you just break through those walls. That's it. And like you said, on a sober mind, you can't do that. What shrooms does is it like activates that thought process in your mind and in your soul, to where you can go back to those and really just not just deal with them, but get through them. And the getting through part is so important, and I can't stress that enough, because people always go around their problems. You find a way to go around it or under it, or you just avoid it. You don't want to deal with it. But there's a reason why we are the way we are before we deal with them, and then we deal with them and get through them, and we feel like a brand new person. It's supposed to be that way. You come to an understanding on why you've been the person you've been for so long. And we all have childhood trauma, from the poorest of places to the richest of places. Everybody has a childhood trauma. Everybody has a story. And that's why I say, when you're laying down at night and your head's on that pillow, that shit comes up. No matter who you are, everybody's dealing with something. Shrooms just helped me get through all the obstacles that I kept putting myself through, that I would just ignore, that I would just shove down, and it all came out. Nothing's ever been like that with me, and I'm such like a mindful person, and like the way I strategize in my brain and all that, it's really like complex, which all our brains are complex, but mine's just on a different level. So that brings everything there, and I can literally just see everything. Like when you're on shrooms, if you haven't done shrooms, like you wouldn't understand. Like there's nothing I can do to explain it for you, but you could see music. When you're listening to music, you could see music. It's weird. So all those traumas and all those whatever I've gone through, you can see it, and I can just map it out. Like Tony Stark, right? You know how his computer is different from everybody else's, where you can just pull stuff and just put it here. That's how our traumas are. You just pull them out. All right, cool. What are we gonna do to get through this? All right, cool. This is why I've been acting this way with my mom lately, right? Maybe something she did back in the time I was 8, that pissed me off, and I never, got through it, or just shit like that. It gives you that perspective to just like draw back from the inner self of you, like to your core. All right, cool. Core memories. This I gotta fix. I don't want to be this person anymore. Everybody wants to be better, right? There's no perfect person out there, so everyone wants to be better. They want to go back to their core, change who they are, but if they don't know exactly what's bothering them, or if they've just shoved so much shit down, like, you don't know where to start. I was like that. So the shrooms, like, when I did it, I was like, oh shit, it was levels to it, because I didn't start off with a bunch. I think the first time I did it was like 1.7 grams, and like, I saw something different. And I was like, oh shit, like, I'm crying and laughing at the same time, but this isn't like a laughing, like crying because something's funny. It's laughing because, like, oh shit, there's something in here that's coming out, So I was like, oh shit. So I dealt with that. I went on that trip, came back from it, then did it a second time, did a little bit more. Same thing kind of happened. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, there's some stuff in me that I need to get out. Then the third time, I took like a full eighth. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I got to deal with this. And then that's it. I just dealt with it. I got through the traumas that popped up at that time. And then the next time, different traumas. But it's not like every time is a different trip. That, But that's because we go through different things from the last trip to that one, So a little bit more pops up that you maybe shoved down, or, It is therapeutic to a certain way. I don't advise that to nobody unless, like, you're good in your mind, but it is different, and that shit really helped me with life. Put a lot of stuff in my life in perspective that I can actually, like, all right, cool, there's more understanding. Like, I understand why a person is the way they are, right? I don't have to hate that person. I could just understand that that's why that they are the way they are. And I think a lot more people need that, especially at a time right now where people are so judgmental, right? You can't judge nobody for who they are. You don't know what they've gone through. You don't know what thought process they have when they're sleeping at night, or right when they lay themselves down to sleep, So, I don't know. It's helped me in many ways.
That's an amazing way to put it.
It's my way.
Super spot on, because I second all that. And before I ever, like, dabbled in shrooms, I was kind of a mindless person. I would go through life and wouldn't think about the consequences of my actions or anything that I say, or in general wouldn't ever stop to think about how anybody else might be affected by what I'm doing or what I might say to them. And obviously, like, you want to be yourself unapologetically, and whether people fuck with you or not, like, that doesn't matter. But just being mindful, like, you can still be the person you want to be, still be confident, still do whatever you want to do, and still be, like, a mindful person towards, like, just the world and people around you. And for me, that was one of the things that I learned that from my first couple trips that I took with me, was that everything that I do and everything that I say has consequences, or actions follow it afterwards, whether I want to believe it or not, whether I'm directing it towards somebody, towards something, or anything at all. Just the fact that, like, it came to my mind and I spoke it, like, the type of energy that comes out of you always comes back. And that's why, like, once you do shrooms, you kind of realize, like, everything's connected. Like, we're super connected to these trees, to everything that's around us, all the people that are around us, whether you think you are or not. Like, you think this person they believe in a different religion than you, and they come from like a completely different country, don't even speak the same language, but at the same time we're humans, like we're both humans, like we're still pretty much the same. And whether you speak the same language or not, like the energy that you pass off from one another has an effect, like a ripple effect, and you just keep passing good energy on to people, like that next person's going to pass good energy on to the next person. And it kind of made me think, like, instead of just being like a d-bag and whoever I used to be that didn't give a fuck about anything and anybody's feelings at all, to like change. And it started with myself, because I wanted to be a good ripple effect in the world, instead of just somebody that's like judgmental and like, oh, that guy's fucking stupid, like that's so like stupid and this and that, and always just judging people for like what they're trying to do. And I just didn't want to be that guy anymore, as I had a very negative outlook on life, just based off like where I was at and the way things were happening to me. And shrooms helped me get out of that and just realize that like that's not how I should be, and that's not how anybody should be. So I always just treasure being able to hear stories and like people's experiences that kind of are similar to mine, and just realizing that like we can all be better and spread just positive frequencies and vibes and energies, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And it's like exactly right, like don't judge anybody at all, because you really have no idea what they're going through or like what they've been through. Just let people be them, and like at the end of the day, that's like all the only thing that matters is yourself, your family, and your mentals, and just taking care of the things that are important to you. And like I'm just glad that I have people close to me that understand that. And once you just raise your frequency, you find your tribe, and you just find people that are like-minded and like to be on the same level as you, and you just keep growing that family. And if we can grow that family just literally worldwide, like the world will be such a better place. But you know, that's hard as fuck with the way things are right now, and there's also billions of people out there. But just try to do your best, and that's all we can do. And I guess I would say, non-shrooms related question for any like artist or tattoo artist or somebody that wants to get into just art in general. Mm-hmm. Like, what's some advice you'd give somebody who's just learning how to do art, or just starting and just maybe wants to go down that route of just creativity and being a creative person? Because we're both wearing Lesane, which is his future designer brand company that's going to be in stores worldwide. And he's just a creative soul and a creative person. He's also a rapper too. This guy does it all. Yeah. So what's some advice you'd give to just a youngin' coming up that wants to go down a creative path?
If you're creative, you're creative. You know what I mean? Like, you're creative in your own way, as I am in mine, you know, as our buddy Race is in his. We're all just creative. So what I say is just don't listen to nobody. You know, if you want to make clothing out of leaves, make clothing out of leaves. Just make sure it's some of the best shit out there, you know? So if you're a creative person, you're a creative person. Like, the biggest judge you're going to have as a creative person is yourself. The person looking in the mirror. And listen to that person. Judge yourself, you know? Get better, because that's the only person that counts, you know? Keep the outside world away from your ears. I mean, let them talk. And most people just talk because they can't do it themselves. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you want to open up whatever you want to open up, and you tell somebody because you're excited about it. You know, this happened many times with me. They're going to be like, oh, shit. Like, are you sure? You're going to, you know, it's so hard to do this, or it's so hard to do that. It's because it's hard to them. In their mind, it's hard. You know, for me, it was like, shit, I'm going to do it. You ain't going to tell me. If you say anything negative, I'm just going to try to prove you wrong. You know, that's me, and I guess like the egotistical side of me. It's like, nah, fuck that. You could tell me no all you want. It ain't going to happen. Like, I'm going to map this shit out, and I'm going to do it. But you have to have that in you. If you're going to do anything along those lines of where you're going to sell anything to people, or give a service. Like, you just be the best you can be, and don't listen to nobody. Get your shit in order, you know, drop a plan. Starts with a dream, right? Drop the plan and then go forth with it. But go full force with it. Be in there 1,000. No slack. Don't give your dreams, your plan, no slack. Just get out there and do it. If you want to be a tattoo artist, go out there and do it. Start learning. Go to a tattoo shop. Become an apprentice. See what these guys are doing and how they got so great. Ask questions. Never stop asking questions, you know, whether it's a person or Google. You have it on your phone, right? So with that, just go fucking do it, and do it 1,000. Read up on stuff, you know. Get your own education. Educate yourself on whatever you want to do, and don't stop. Don't stop learning. Don't stop striving to be the best version of you, artistically and like spiritually as a person, you know, because that all helps. You could be the best artist in the world and a shitty person. No one's gonna buy your art. You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna buy that shit. So be amazing all around. Be great all around. You know, mind, body, and soul.
Hell yeah, that's some great advice right there. And making me want to be a fucking creative now and shit. But nah, for real. I mean, we all have those people in our life. I mean, don't want to be talking shit about my pops, but he's been one of the biggest critics in my life about just like the ideas that I've had and things I want to do, because, you know, he comes from the old school mindset, old school background, and the way that old school people are is just like, you kind of go down the generic way in life that you got to go to school, you got to do this and that, go get a good job, kind of just not really roll the dice and bet on yourself in like different circumstances, you know. But we've all, not just my pops, but just in general, other people in my life have always been like, oh, that's not a good idea, like that's going to be really hard for you to do you know how hard that's going to be? And it's just like, if you can use it as motivation and just be like, all right, well, just watch me, I don't care how hard it's going to be, but I'm about to do it. And I just like take that mindset towards it, and just also don't let those types of people like change your trajectory on your dream or like where you want to go in life. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. People saying it's hard, that should just make you want to do it in general. Like, fuck it, that shit's about to be hard, bet. Like, that means it's going to be fun, that it's going to be some trials and tribulations, and I get to learn from it, and I get to learn from going down a harder path. Because at the end of the day, that's all that life is just trying new things, failing, figuring things out, and seeing what you're good at. And I feel like just in life now, more people are kind of getting into that creative mindset and that creative style of life, or just thinking outside the box, which is really cool. Because I went to college, I'm not going to lie, school's a fucking scam unless you know you're going to be a doctor, a teacher, or like a science rocket fucking builder or whatever. Like if you're not going to be any of those things, like, you don't need to go to school. You have all the information you could ever want in the palm of your hand on our phones nowadays. You watch YouTube videos, you can watch anything, read stuff. I've honestly been more educated by YouTube than I ever did in school. Maybe because I didn't listen in school and I just didn't want to be there. But at the same time, I feel like I've gained more information and knowledge from watching videos and just Googling shit than I ever have in the school system. And so don't ever feel like just because you didn't go to school or you didn't go graduate from a great college or like university or whatever, that, oh, like, shit, I'm not smart enough. I don't have that diploma, that degree, that if I show up on my resume, like, I'm not gonna have it. Like, if you really want something bad enough, you can find the information. You can build a resume by just getting your feet wet, getting any job that you can, and just figuring out a way. Because I know so many successful people that never went to college, that didn't take the regular, I guess, societal norm way of life that people usually want you to go, and they are the most successful people in the entire world, or people that I've ever met. And it's just like more inspiring, and overall those people are honestly are more creative and are able to think outside the box a little bit better. And it's just overall inspiring, and I hope that y'all just never give up on your dreams and just let people take your dreams away from you just by saying it's hard, or that it's going to be a very difficult path to get there. Just use it as motivation, and just
Yeah, let's go back to your father. I understand where your father comes from. Obviously, I'm a father, right? So it's not especially like the time frame that he came from, because my mom's the same. My mom and your dad are the same age. My mom was my biggest hater. My biggest hater when I became a tattoo artist. You know, like the first like 3-4 years of me being a tattoo artist, she was like, you need to go back to school. You need to get a real job. You need to do this. You need to do that. You know what I mean? So I think it comes out of a place, it comes from a place of love inside them. And that's the understanding that I have, you know. They want the best. Like, we want the best for our children. You know, when you have a child, you're going to understand that a little bit more. I get it. It's like, it fucks you up. You're just like, man, fuck them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Yo, when I say my mom was my biggest hater, I mean, she was. Like, there was no bigger hater out there. Shout out to my mom, though. She loves it now. Now she sees it because I showed her, you know. I think we just have to show our parents, because from the moment we're born, or the moment our children are born, to forever, you know, we don't want to see them fall. You know, you fall, you got to get back up. You know, like, that's why a lot of parents, like, as soon as their child falls, they're right there trying to pick them up, you know. I'm not that way as a parent, because I know life is going to come, and I need to make sure that they can get up on their own, you know, and stand on their 10 toes. But I get it. Our parents are from a whole different world, and this world is way different than the world that they grew up in. But it does come from a place of love. I just wanted to say that, because I don't want people thinking like your dad's like the worst person in the world, you know. It's just every parent's like that, you know. I want the best for I'm literally telling my 14-year-old right now, I'm like, yo, this is what you're going to college for. Like, I'm telling him, like, this is what you're going to college for. I'm being that father now, you know, but I'm letting him know, like, this is what I want you to go to college for. This is what's going to make you a lot of money, and this is what's going to allow you the freedom to follow your dream after that. You know, I might not be here. I might, you know what I mean? I might be gone. So I'm not going to be able to give him that freedom. So I need to put him in a position to where he thinks like, all right, cool. I want to do this in life. All right, cool. Well, do this first, because if you do this first, this allows you to do this after, at a younger age. You know what I mean? So that's me as a father. I'm like, I want the best for my son, but I also don't want to take away from his dreams. You can follow your dreams. I'm going to give you that. You can follow your dreams all the fuck you want. But make sure, in order to follow your dreams, you need money. Have that backup, you know? Don't have your dream be your backup. Have whatever is making you money be your backup. Follow your dreams, so that way you know, like, you're going to make it no matter what. You know? We need to fall. I failed so many times. That's why I'm in the position that I'm in now. You know, if I didn't fail, if I didn't fuck up so many times, I wouldn't be the person that I am. My character wouldn't be like this. You know, I might be frail, you know, but shit, no. Hell no. In life, you got to be tough, especially nowadays, because this life is thrown at you. It's crazy, you know. You know it. You're living it. You're the younger generation from me, so my generation was already hard to grow up in. Yours is like, it's mental and spiritual war that you guys are going through. We went through that, but we were still, like, we had grit in us. Like, we went through hard times, like harsh times, you know, as like my older sister, then my mom did, you know, same with you. And then, like, theirs was different. They didn't have that mental, you know, that mental side of everything where we have. And that's way worse than like the shit that we had to go through. We went through mental shit, but we kind of put ourselves in positions to be in that mental shit. You know, we were doing shit we shouldn't have done, you know, or dealing with gangs and all that shit. But Now it's just different. And like you said, like the mental state is everything. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to my mom. I love you.
Yeah, shout out to Pops. You know I love you, and it's all love. Like, I don't want anybody to think I hate my dad or anything like that. But at the end of the day, like, some of the closest people in our life are our biggest haters, and that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Just in general, like, I mean, we're both wearing that Lesane, and he's gonna be dropping his line very soon, and kind of want you to talk about it and what type of avenue of fashion you want Lesane to go down, and just educate the people on what it is and what your vision for it is.
Lesane. It is a word with no definition, right? So what I'm doing is I'm defining the meaning to Lesane. And it is a high-end brand, so the shirts are very expensive. The suits are very, very expensive. I have a women's line and a men's line. The t-shirt, this isn't part of the line. I ain't trying to get sued by the Yankees. I just made it myself. But yeah, it's a brand for my people and people that are like me, that went through the same like trials and tribulations. You know what I mean? Like people that actually work hard for what they got. And I went the designer brand. I already did the t-shirts and the sweats and all that with another brand, and I just got over it. I wanted to bring something that's unique and has a lot of meaning towards it. And like going back to when I was young and being in fashion, like I'm bringing that back, that child in me back. And I'm able to do that because of my tattoo career. You know what I mean? I make money doing that, and I can fund the expensive brand that I'm putting out, you know? So I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I still haven't put it out because I've been doing my homework on it, really trying to get the best shit out there. And I'm talking like the best fabrics, the best silks, you know, the best everything, you know, because I want to give that quality to my people that are willing to pay the price for it, you know. Your shirt says "not for the rich" on the back, and it's like an oxymoron because it's a $600 shirt, you know. And people are like, yo, it's a $600 shirt. What do you mean not for the rich? It's not. What it is for like people that grew up like me. What I did, if I wanted to dress nice, my mom didn't have money. You know, my mom she didn't make money. She was a single parent. She couldn't give me a bunch of money to go to the mall, you know, once a month or whenever to buy the clothes that I like to wear, which were expensive at the time. If I wanted a pair of J's, shit, I had to work for it, you know. I had to call around, wash cars, you know, mow lawns, do whatever I had to do in high school to get my J's, you know. But the J's at that time were like $160. My mom didn't have no $160 for J's. So she would give me like $60 or $80, and I'd come up with the rest. So I'd work my ass off for it and be like, all right, cool. I'd work, save my money. Finally, I got the money. Bam, here you go. I got my J's. I worked hard for it. I wasn't rich, but anybody growing up where I grew up from, like in the hood, $160 shoes in the early 2000s, late 90s, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So we weren't rich, but I did like that quality. And that's what it's like. That's what my brand's about, quality. And everything's numbered and tagged, you know. So if I make a shirt, let's say in London like that, it's only 1 through 25 or 1 through 50. All my suits are very limited, you know. Those are 1 through 10, 1 through 5, 1 through 20. Just depends on which suit it is and how many I'm making, because there's 3 different, it's the same suit, 3 different price points on how you want your suit, with regular buttons or you want them with 18 karat gold buttons, you know. How much do you want to floss with this suit, you know? And my suits are made from 100% wool, but like the wool that I got it's crazy, you know. Like when you get deep in this game like I've been doing, it is crazy. Like my ultimate goal after I sell a few like suits is to buy a farm and then get like the top sheep. Like people breed dogs. I'm gonna have to start breeding sheep to get the top fucking wool out there, so the wool comes from me. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy game, and it's a big old rabbit hole to go down. But I'm doing the most. I don't want to just be buying from other companies that got it. No, I want to be that person. I want to be that farmer. I need to be that person that makes it, so I know exactly where it's coming from. Yeah, it's deep, and yeah, it's been going on for like 2 years now. And I'm most likely going to put it out in September, October. But we'll see. We'll see. Something for the world. They're going to love it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm excited for y'all to just get to see more of it. And I mean, y'all heard it here first. My guy's going to have his own fucking sheep on his own farm that he is going to be using to put into his clothing. Like, that's the type of level like that y'all got to be thinking on if y'all want to be creating the best product and the best type of things. Because realistically, I don't think any fucking company I've ever heard of is doing shit like that. So, like, I'm just excited to watch you.
Gucci used to.
Yeah.
Gucci had a farm. They're raising bulls. I said Gucci used to. Gucci had a farm that would raise like bulls, you know, and for their leather. And that's how their leather was so top quality. This is back when the Gucci's actually owned their brand, you know, before it was bought off by the corporation. Corporations don't give a fuck about shit. All they're there for is to collect their money, and they put a bunch of shit out, and it's already all the family members of like Gucci, Louis, Chanel, Christian Dior, they all lived their life and died, and either their family got a hold of it or they sold it to a corporation, and their corporation's in charge of it. But they already did all the work. You know, my thing with me is like I'm not selling my shit to a corporation unless they come with a stupid bag, and it's yours. I'll create something else because I got that in me. But yeah, my goal is to hand it down to my children, you know, and have them hand it down. Like, fuck, you know, I'd rather see this shit burnt down to the ground than anybody make money off of my shit, you know. Ain't no corporation gonna be ahead of, like, in charge of my shit unless I write like a clause out. This is the clause if you want to own this brand, and you have to abide by it, you know, for the next million years.
Oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. I mean, I'm not very educated on like the fashion industry and just the things that go on behind it, so that's dope to just hear a little bit about that and how Gucci did that, because that's just very interesting, and I see Gucci everywhere, so I know I'm about to be seeing Lesane everywhere on everybody, just like his tattoos around the world and shit. But thank you for coming by and sharing game and just spitting some knowledge to us youngins, and just also giving a father's perspective on certain things as well. Like, that's much needed, and I appreciate you for that, and hope you had a good time, man. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.